It's another Wednesday, and the Premier League Preview Show is back right here live on Facebook, live on City TV. My name is Nathan Kwao, and the show is brought to you by our very good friends Premium Bank, Slide Pay, Betway, Vodafone, and Guinness. Benjamin Nketiah joins me for yet another exciting episode. Ben, nice to have you back.
And Mark 5 mode. check the badge out. Mark 5 mode. I'm here. I know people are accusing me of my Liverpool affiliations and the fact that Liverpool is playing Newcastle next. Why am I in a Newcastle jersey? It's all love. It's all Premier League.
It's all Premier League. So you're in the Newcastle shirt today. What are you going to be in next week?
You never know. I might just take it to Merseyside, or I might just go to the Stadium of Lights, revive Sunderland. Yeah, just for shaggy reasons.
I've been trying to follow them in the Championship. They're trying to put together a good run. It's Leeds and Cardiff who seem to have their wits about them. But let's start off. Let's talk about Spurs. Why? Because of Harry Kane. Now, all of a sudden, there's this conversation that's beginning to build up about Harry Kane and whether or not he's a world-class forward. Scored 3 times last night. Of course, he will start if he's fit against Huddersfield over the weekend, which is our first game. But where would you put Harry Kane? Is he a world-class finisher? Is he world-class? Is he part of the best?
Well, I definitely think that as far as my parameters in measuring strikers are concerned, he's as good as strikers get in the modern game. Okay. And I'm not going to say that I'm comparing him to this person or to that person. Look, the art of striking is about putting the ball in the back of the net on a consistent basis. That's how I define a world-class striker. How many different ways can he also score? Does Harry Kane score with his head? Yes. Does he know how to shoot from distance? Yes. Does he know how to play as a typical poacher? Yes. Does he know how to create space to get his own shot off? Yes. Can he score from close range? Yes. Long distance? Yes. Left leg, right leg. He does it all.
You're saying that over the years, he's grown to do different things.
Exactly.
So we saw Harry Kane scoring the basic goal, basic used advisably here. Now he's scoring great goals like the one from the North London derby a few years ago. Keller from just inside the box. He's trying shots from outside, scoring from volleys from corners. Last night he scored the perfect hat-trick, right foot, left foot header. So you think, based on that, he's actually grown as a player?
He is a world-class player, and that basically encapsulates what I'm saying. A world-class finisher, a world-class striker is a striker who knows how to do it all and can do it all on a consistent basis. 3 seasons for Harry Kane.
20 plus goals.
Yes, 3 seasons, 20 plus goals. I really don't. If that does not define world-class for me, I don't know what else does, because I can compare him with the supposed world-class strikers in the world, and his numbers will look better than theirs.
Okay, so that's an interesting one. I'm sure people will throw in the next leg of the argument. Let him leave Spurs. Let him do this somewhere. Does he have to prove his worth somewhere else?
No, he doesn't. You see, that's the truth about the matter. And being a world-class player has also come to be attributed to being with supposedly a big-name franchise or a big-name team. I don't necessarily think that's the truth. Okay. There are players who play in the most obscurest of teams but are still very much world-class. It's just about who comes to get you and about who gets to see your talent. For Harry Kane, Tottenham Hotspur or not, I believe that he started showing glimpses of the Harry Kane we are seeing now when he went on loan to Norwich City.
Yes.
And now he's come back to Tottenham Hotspur and he's doing it large. Look, it's not a coincidence that this man was at the Arsenal Academy when he was young. He's had greatness as a striker in him from a very long time, and it's just really manifesting full fold now. The dangerous part about Harry Kane is that I don't even think that he's reached his peak yet. I don't think that he is completely developed as a forward, and I think that as far as the game is concerned, he will better learn how to beat defenders. He will learn how to feel comfortable in his zones. He will define comfort zones for himself as a striker, where he will be almost dead sure to score once he's in those zones. When he gets into those zones, he will practically be
I'm sure the next thing is that now he needs the goals to help his national team. It looks like on an individual level, he will score for his countries. As to whether they have the quality to move them to do big things. But Spurs and Harry Kane are at Huddersfield. It's our first game on Saturday. Man, Huddersfield, they've had an okay start to the Premier League, but you can tell that now the pressure is beginning to show, the test of a new team.
It's about the body of work they've put into the early parts of the season, and that's what ensured that match week 1 to about match week 3 were very fruitful for them. Basically, they press higher up the pitch than most teams. In fact, by the numbers, they have recovered more balls in the opposing third, and also intercepted more balls than any other team in the Premier League. And these are guys who are practically unknown. One guy I remember and I still stick with is Philip Billing, because I've known Philip Billing to be at Huddersfield for about close to 5 years.
Yeah.
He's been there for he's been through
He's highly valued by the club.
And he's been through the youth rank. Look, I tell you this, he's not your household name yet, but if Huddersfield gets televised games, if they
have a lot more of their games,
if they get a little more attention, I'm telling you that bigger teams will be knocking on the doors of Huddersfield for that young man's signature. He's the heart and soul of what they do in midfield. Trust me, the football is not pretty. It's break up play, move the ball forward, recover the ball, and that's the body of work they put in. They will bring that same heart and feel to that game against Tottenham. Okay. So Tottenham will have to get their wits about them and really finish off this game quickly, because again, a team like Huddersfield thrive on being able to frustrate the opponent. If they get the sense that Tottenham are being irked by their game style, you never know what might happen. A set piece in a dangerous position, and this game might be wrapped up the wrong end.
We'll see two managers who play largely the same kind of football. So Mauricio Pochettino wants his team to press. He's a very energetic. He wants the players to run up and down the pitch. David Wagner, manager of Huddersfield, he's a very good friend of Jurgen Klopp. Both play from the same kind of philosophy, so you can understand what we are talking about. This should be an exciting game. Saturday at 11:30. But let's talk about the two Manchester clubs. Let's start off with Man United. Yeah. They welcome Crystal Palace to Old Trafford at 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
Palace have a big deficiency. There's no Christian Benteke. He's out for about 6 weeks due to a knee ligament problem. Yeah. And now they will have to try and find goals from elsewhere. They've not even scored, for crying out loud. How do they stand this test at Old Trafford?
Well, it's practically top of the table versus bottom of the table, and what this could be 7 matches without a win and without a goal for Crystal Palace. And Christian Benteke, I mean, what a time to lose a player like that. At this point, you would think that Crystal Palace could use all the inspiration and all the motivation they could get from all quarters, but star striker is injured. I'm asking myself exactly where are the goals going to come from now, because that's about another one of their creative players gone. Wilfred Zaha has had his own issues with the start of the season. Christian Benteke now gone. I'm casting my eyes around and I really cannot think of any credible replacement for Christian Benteke.
Wow.
So Crystal Palace really are in all sorts of trouble, and this is not the sort of game you require when you are going into a game of the this is not the sort of
kind of situation
you want to be in, because you have a United team that feels as if, look, we've had some tough outings in recent times, but we can go out there and make a statement of this Crystal Palace side just to get our confidence levels back to where we want them. And I mean, it's an unhealthy situation for Palace and a very glorious, sumptuous looking situation for Manchester United. I'm telling you, Mkhitaryan will be smacking his lips and say, possibly I can notch 2-3 assists in this game. Lukaku will be saying, well, why not get a
This league is very tough. It's very unforgiving. So we'll see how Crystal Palace. But let's just spend a few more seconds on Palace. So Roy Hodgson knows what he's walked into. The people at the top, I'm sure, would have told him that this is how bad the situation is. For Palace now, what is the target? Is it merely survival? Or they can look at themselves and say, okay, we may finish in the bottom 3. We may survive. But should we give ourselves an ambitious target, say, between 13th and 15th? Or for them, they should just try and survive for now?
They should look hard at themselves and ask themselves how they managed to find themselves here. Look, this is a Crystal Palace team that, with things being done properly, let's say in the just gone by off season, they should have been.
And what was done wrongly? Because from what you're saying, we suggest that some things were done wrongly.
First of all, they hired the wrong manager, and then they didn't invest the right type of money in the right type of players. Not unless they did not have vision or they did not have any ambition coming into the season. But they didn't invest the type of money that I expected, because they started a project. Look, if you start a project by bringing in Johan Cabaye, pay him big money. Christian Benteke, pay him big money. Mamadou Sakho, pay him big money. Andros Townsend, Wilfred Zaha. What I expect is that when you are coming into a new season, you identify problem areas in your team and try to sign the appropriate players. Look, you don't have to even necessarily sign big name players. I've always said this. It doesn't have to be a big name player. As long as the player is unknown, comes in, does the job, and takes us all by storm, that's fine. But they did not do what was expected of them. And now they are grappling with, major catastrophes like the Benteke injury. They have to think about where the most suitable position to finish in the league is. At this point, I'm telling you that I don't expect this Crystal Palace downslide to slow down any time. By the time January gets here.
And over time, teams are more settled now.
And the problem with Palace is they don't have the typical slide down the table problem where it's a team that lacks talent, a team that lacks egos. Look, you have Mamadou Sakho and Johan Kabay. You have Christian Benteke and Andros Townsend. These are guys who typically view themselves as mid-table, worst-case scenario, top half players. So, getting down at that point in the table will obviously lead them to asking themselves a couple of questions. Okay, what am I doing here? Am I in the right club? Is this where I should possibly be at this point in my career? And when you have players who have contributed to your demise asking themselves these questions, that is the ultimate recipe for disaster.
See, Roy Hodgson has a lot to do. We'll see if he can conjure a miracle at Old Trafford. But Manchester United are in great form. We'll see. United themselves play CSKA Moscow later tonight in the Champions League. We'll see how that one plays out. So that's one half of the Manchester riddle. The other half, Ben, is in West London. And it's our star tie of the weekend. It's Chelsea welcoming Manchester City. And we've said it a lot of times about City and how they've started and where they've started from. Yeah. People say that this is the test. Everything they have bought, everything they have designed, everything they have built gets tested.
Chelsea's season. I just feel that
define Manchester City.
No, it won't. I just feel that it's one of those matches where, like you're saying, it puts into proper perspective how much progress you've made as a team. It puts into proper perspective how much development, how much understanding players have of the system in which they are executing, and if there possibly need to be tweaks or the system needs to be scrapped wholeheartedly, maybe for big matches of such occasions. But again, I've been mildly impressed by the sort of turnaround Chelsea have made, especially after the early season crisis that they've had. The players have responded well. I'm even beginning to get the sense that it's not even the type of team where the manager necessarily has to talk a lot and insist on
self-motivated.
It looks as if the system that was used last season has just been warmed up and microwaved, and the guys who have come in have just been pointed out to with regards to the key areas that they need to be able to get going, and the whole machine is cranked up and is working. So I do feel that as well as Pep Guardiola's team play as a unit, this Chelsea team are a better group, and they are beginning to show the group characteristics of a team that have won. To say that I've been impressed by how easily Bakayoko has fit in with the Chelsea setup and how much he looks to be enjoying his football with his teammates. Look, if you didn't know that Chelsea had purchased him at the start of the season, you would have seen him play for them and would have thought that this guy had been with them the whole time. And that, for me, will be a big factor in determining if they win against City or not. But going into this game, I look at it first of all as a 50-50 chance.
Okay.
And then I will shave off 10% for Manchester City and make it 60-40. Why? Because Benjamin Mendy is gone.
Oh yeah, he's out for a while. At least he's not playing this weekend. Now
he's gone.
We saw them try Fabian Delph in that position.
he will get roasted if that happens. Fabian Delph, it's the last thing. It's the last thing Pep Guardiola wants to do, to play a central midfielder in a left wing back
what
spot.
Should Pep do now? He doesn't have Benjamin Mendy. We've seen him play with 4 defenders all season.
Yeah.
What does he do? It looks like his right back area is sort of Kyle Walker, fantastic back.
He needs to play Danilo at left back.
Danilo at left back.
And the truth of the matter is, when Danilo plays at right back, he's a 7/10 right back. When he plays at left back, he's a 5/10 left back. So what do you settle for now? The only problem now is that he's the only player who will possibly feel naturally at home yes, playing in that left back spot, and it won't be the same for any of the guys. So I'm just wondering how that's going to happen. But the truth of the matter is that
you think somebody's going to win this?
I
ask because you see it could have an impact at the top of the table. Yeah. Now United play at 2 p.m. Yeah. Should they beat Palace and City drop off, United go back to the top of the table with probably a lot more goals because that's the difference. Yeah. Or I mean, just a win. I think they are tied on points, right?
They are tied on points.
Yeah. So it's
I think that Chelsea are a more organized side. They have better chemistry and they have more character for me as a team. I would still fancy Chelsea in, say, a crisis situation where they go down by a goal in that game to come back and still win the game, as compared to if Manchester City were to go down earlier in the game. I just feel that there's just this ironclad confidence about this Chelsea team that Manchester City just don't have. Yes, they have a good coach. Yes, they have a good brand of players. Yes, they play a good brand of football, but they just have not reached that level yet.
We'll see. Huge test for the two managers. If Chelsea lose, it will be their second loss at home. If Manchester City lose, it will be their first loss of the season. And maybe it could shake things. But that's why it's the Premier League. The greatest show on earth, live on City 97.3. So that's on Saturday on radio at 4:30 p.m. Let me go through a few of your messages and then we'll talk about Sunday, because we've got 3 live games on Sunday. The first triple threat Sunday, as I choose to call it. All right. So, Atrim Sichofe Philip says, first time watching this, it's dope. It's sharp analysis. Thank you very much, Philip. Thank you very, very much. He's a good friend. He works with GTV Sports Plus. Coach Tony says, the lads are here. Yes, we are. We're here. All right. James Richmond Udenke Abe says, hashtag Klopp out.
Hey. You're back at it again.
So Soku Deladem John says, Jose, love United all the way. All right. So do send us your thoughts. Drop your comments in the comment section. We'll go through as many of them as possible. And tell your friends to tune in. It's the Premier League Preview Show live on Facebook, live on City TV. Nathan Carr here. Benjamin Nketiah is the other half of the terrible duo. I'm the other half, the chief inquisitor, the one asking the questions. But let's get to Sunday. And there's Arsenal taking on Brighton. That's a very interesting home game. So Arsenal have done well at home this season. Alexandre Lacazette seemed to find the goals at home. He's here.
Premier League teams, especially those that have managers that have Premier League experiences, the best advice they can give you at the start of a season is just go out there, play without any fear, enjoy your football, especially in the matches against the big names, against the matches against big teams. Go out there and enjoy yourself. If they go into this game with that sort of mentality, they are more likely to get something positive out of their result than if they don't. But I just get the sense again that Arsenal sort of take matches of this nature to find their level. And in a game of this nature, you've had Lacazette scoring a brace already on Monday night, so you get the sense that he's warming up to the Premier League gradually. A match against a team like Brighton will offer him the opportunity to properly stretch his legs and get his I expect that Arsenal will come out a fighting team. I want to see that Arsenal I saw against Chelsea. There's a tendency to lay back and say that it's Brighton and Hove Albion. I'm going to win.
Okay.
You need to go out there.
So you think Arsenal should go at it full throttle?
I think Arsenal's mantra for the season is to approach every game as if it was an opportunity to qualify back into the top 4. If I was Arsene Wenger, that would be the motivation. You play every match as if it's the last game of the season and you need to make the top 4. You need to start games off shooting, hitting the post, sliding. You need to show aggression. You need to show aggression that will overwhelm your opponents, so that if Brighton come into this game fancying their chances, you quash their
chances will be thrown out.
You quash them 5 minutes and you let them know their place. You let them know that we are Arsenal, you are newly promoted Brighton, and this is where you belong.
Right, so Arsenal, Brighton, that's our first kickoff on Sunday at 11. So that's a very early one. There's Everton and Burnley at 1:15 also on Sunday. I'd really love to see how Ronald Koeman plays this one. Why? Last week he attempted his shenanigans again by playing Idrissa Gana Gueye, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Wayne Rooney and Morgan Schneiderlin in one setup. The moment he changed his team, threw on Tom Davies, threw on Oumar Niasse, there we were, back to normalcy. They went on to win 2-1. Let's see if he repeats the trick or he will go back to his old stubborn ways when they take on Burnley at 1:15. Then let's close out the coverage and let's talk about Newcastle versus Liverpool. This is a very traditional tie. Now, in years past, this has served up some excitement.
If there's anything Benitez loves, it is stirring the pot, and I believe that
he has good history.
Exactly. This season, I mean his greatness has never been in question, but he's put a silver lining to it this season for me.
He's turned I wouldn't say he's turned them into a great team, but look at the resources they have.
It's a bunch of average players.
On to do a good. Of course, they lost last week to snap the winning run, but they've played
well.
And
that really is what good managers do. Well, guess what? He could have spent a lot of time whining about what players he didn't get, and I mean, I still think that there's a tendency he might jump ship if this gets a little rough. That's the truth of the matter. I believe that Newcastle as an organization need to enjoy Benitez. Be aware of the extra Benitez spice in the equation.
Okay.
Jurgen Klopp knows that his team have conceded goals in droves. And what's he talking these days about? He can write a book on defense in 30 minutes. I don't know what he's talking about, but I honestly think that he should stay away from such topics. Look, we don't care if you can write an encyclopedia. There's a job in front of you to get done, and you need to get it done. That's all we need. We always say this, like, get the job done and quit with the excuses. First step in getting the job done is ensuring that your players know how to execute in both boxes. I said this the last time around. I saw them
play last night.
Yeah.
Against Spartak Moscow. And to be brutally honest, for a moment I felt for Jurgen Klopp. Players like Firmino, and
Firmino's form has been terrible.
It is unthinkable to watch Roberto Firmino these days, and he's wasting chance.
You know the problem.
After chance.
The problem is
after chance. And now look, continues, but already scored 2 in 2.
Yeah. The problem with Firmino is he goes 10 matches and scores 5 goals in the space of those 10 matches. But he puts in so much work and appears in almost every space on the pitch that you actually think he's the man of the match. So his performances are very deceptive. And I just think that, again, coming from Germany, speaking German, he is a Jurgen Klopp favorite, whether you like it or not. Until the time when his form actually really stinks and he really can't be put in the team, he will always feature ahead of Daniel Sturridge.
So Sturridge himself has been very decent off the bench. He missed a good chance.
I like Daniel Sturridge
last night. Do you think that he should get a start this weekend, or you still think he's
I believe that
impact player?
I believe that he should continue to take the opportunities he's given by the manager to put himself in the position to take up the place permanently if the opportunity arises. Like I'm saying now, if there's a fit, whack, off-color Roberto Firmino,
then the Sturridge is a perfect replacement.
And there's a fit brimming inform Daniel Sturridge. Jurgen Klopp will still pick Roberto Firmino. Daniel Sturridge needs to reach the point where he needs to make it look embarrassing for the manager if he picks Roberto Firmino ahead of him. And how do you do that? You take your chances. And that's the truth about Daniel Sturridge.
Come off the bench and set up.
He's not really scored a lot in recent times, but I've never really doubted his ability and his intentions whenever he's been brought on. He always looks to look productive regardless of how much time or how little time he has when he's on the pitch. And I think that attitude is right. He looks very, very healthy to me. Very, very healthy. I haven't seen him like this in a long while. And the truth about Sturridge is, now I'm not even too bothered about the goals. I'm just happy to see him play football without limping off before the match ends. Once he gets a few games under his belt, Daniel Sturridge will be good. Liverpool will nick this. Newcastle will make this as tricky as an encounter as possible. But I just think that the return of Mane will be key for Liverpool. Coutinho is hitting form at just the right time. Never mind that he scored that lovely free kick in the last match day. But regardless of how bad the defense is, things are just coming together for Liverpool on the offensive end, and they should be able to nick this.
We'll see. So like I said, the traditional time on Sunday, that's at 3:30. Newcastle welcome Liverpool to the St. James's Park. It will be a spicy encounter. The North clash happening right here on City 97.3 in the Premier League. So that's our preview show. Benjamin, thank you very much. We'll be wrapping it up. Let me go to some of the comments. People have been sending us all kinds of interesting comments. Patrick, I just says tough game for Chelsea, but we will win. Christopher Abagna Ataguriga. Hey! What a name.
Heavy.
Says, watching you from Nyankwala, thank you very much. How is Nyankwala, by the way? He says, the White Angels, Hala Madrid. Okay. Nuruddin Isifu says, Chelsea are unstoppable at the moment. Morata is on fire. I told you Morata would deliver. I told you. Chris Chavez says, we Chelsea are winning the league again. Conte always beats Pep. Yes, please, Chelsea, win the league to vindicate me. I said you would win, even though I support Man United. Stephen Kofi Entry Arthur says, how do I listen to the commentary online? Well, and also people ask me this question. So there are two answers. First of all, CCFM cannot stream the games because we will breach our contract with TalkSport. But you can listen to TalkSport on the TuneIn app if you can't get a radio to listen to, or you are somewhere in the rest of the world and you want a Premier League to listen to. Listen to our partners, TalkSport, directly off the net. But if you are in Ghana, 97.3, that's your dial right here on City 97.3. Soku Deladem John says, United 6, Crystal Palace 0. Hey! Why? Says Chelsea 2, City 0. That looks more realistic to me. That could happen. Ben, is it time to bring in Morata into the Fantasy League?
I'm bringing Morata to my Fantasy League. I don't know about you guys, but he's definitely featuring in my Fantasy League.
We'll see.
He's been the standout player for me in the past 2 weeks or so in the Premier League. Basically, because of how quickly he has adjusted to the Premier League. I look at him run the channels. I look at him hold up.
He's always had these other attributes. It's the scoring that people have doubted, that the goals don't flow enough.
And he looks like he's enjoying himself already. He's getting goals with ease. I mean, never mind that run, he can start off and finish with the pitch of a finish. But he's just that guy. He's just gotten into his stride way, way earlier than I thought. And as at this point, I'm even thinking that it will be silly to put a cap on how many goals he can get this season.
We'll see how that goes. Roberto Firmino plays for Liverpool. Alvaro Morata. I need to get him into my Fantasy League team. But it's that Aspilicueta Morata connection that I like so much. I love that connection. It gives me points. I'm sure it gives you points out there. But that's our show for this week. My name is Nathan Carl Benjamin Nketiah. We'll catch you over the weekend for the Premier League. We start Saturday early at 11:30. Sunday at 11. We'll bring you every bit of the action that you can imagine right here on City 97.3. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we're out.
They'll go with a 4-4-2 diamond formation for that early lead.
An early goal will settle the nerves.
Their away team has been in bad form. They will feel the pressure.
The home side's kept 2 clean sheets in a row.
It's all about momentum.
Who will have the stamina to last the 90 minutes?
Their star striker is suspended.
They've got no kappa.
The marking will be tight.
This will be won or lost in the midfield.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. Betway, for the love of the game. Inside the last minute of the opening 45 here. And, as we
Scores. 1. Who? Red. Red? Blue. What?
Scores! What a way to finish the first half!
Scores. Halftime.
Scores!
We unite. We defy. We hope. We dream. We play. We are fire in our hearts. We are made of black.